If you love nature, take care of it and nourish it. Nature will repay you with double love and care because nature is calming, refreshing, and peaceful. Sometimes it's astonishing and even catastrophic too, but never evil. In this heartwarming true story, you will see another beautiful example of nature's love. The main characters of this incident are some elephants. One fine morning, to the surprise of many locals, a herd of elephants was seen calmly lining up to embrace a lady and offer her some love. You'll be stunned when you learn why they were behaving in this manner. Elephants are incredible creatures that may live up to 70 years in the wild. They are the world's biggest land mammals. And when we say enormous, we mean large. They may reach a height of 3 meters, 10 feet, and weigh up to 6,000 kilograms, nearly 13,000 pounds. They are often affectionate, kind, and compassionate creatures despite their size. They may be strong, yet they are often quite submissive. Elephants are such an apparent and convenient target for the ivory trade because of their laid-back demeanor. The yearning for ivory has existed among people throughout history. But why so? What's so special about it? Ivory can be found in anything from jewelry to piano keys to valuable pieces of sacred art. Unfortunately, elephants must be slaughtered to extract ivory. Their tusks are created out of this highly sought-after chemical, and the quickest method to harvest them is to kill the animals. Elephants' noises or footprints are often followed by poachers as they sneak into their habitats, where they hunt the animals. After they have spotted an elephant, they will shoot the unfortunate one to kill it. Yet, just because poachers are not skilled hunters, and they just shoot randomly, it's common for elephants to suffer and eventually die in agony after the poachers have stolen what they want. This is a very heinous and cruel crime committed by this industry. The elephant tusks can't simply be sold on the street like so many other goods and commodities after all. The tusks are then removed by sawing and sold on the illicit market. This is an underground market where crooks and underhanded individuals, they purchase and sell pretty much anything and everything you can think of. People often exchange hands with narcotics, weapons, and even other individuals, and nobody bats an eye. That is why it is the ideal location for the sale of elephant tusks. In the 15th century, the practice of poaching elephants for their tusks was quite widespread. According to environmentalist Dr. Sheldrick, it's a cruel and outmoded conduct that has no place in the contemporary world. Back in the 19th century, true, the number of occurrences is decreasing, but not quickly enough. The effects on the elephants are quite detrimental. This heinous crime not only reduces their number, but may also leave newborn elephants without a mother to nurture them until they are adults. And to make matters worse, poachers might be challenging to find, which makes it impossible to catch, punish, or bring anybody to justice. Unchecked poaching leaves newborn elephants without moms. Dr. Daphne Sheldrick enters the plot at this point. When it came to the unfortunate orphaned young elephants, Dr. Daphne Sheldrick decided to take matters into her own hands. She made a concerted effort to console the baby calves, since she recognized the anguish that must have followed the deaths of their moms. To replace the void created by the death of their moms, she would attempt to love, feed, clean, and play with them. Dr. Sheldrick would do her best, even though she could never fully replace a calf's mother. Animals are older, more complex, and in many respects more advanced than humans. According to Dr. Sheldrick, they are more perfect because they follow nature's planned, terrifying symmetry. They all deserve respect and veneration, but probably none more so than the elephant, the planet's most compassionate land animal in terms of feeling. Dr. Sheldrick has grown up surrounded by elephants and had a lifelong interest in and compassion for the enormous animals. She had first-hand knowledge of how peaceful and kind African elephants might be, since she lived in Kenya where there were many of them. She nurtured those memories as she got older until they ignited into a raging passion, which she pursued until she and her husband David Sheldrick were appointed coordinators of the Tsavo National Park. Together, they cared for a variety of animals around the park with a particular emphasis on elephants, who had become orphans as a result of poaching. Dr. Sheldrick eventually created a unique formula equivalent to a mother elephant's milk. Compared to other formulas at the time, it was much richer and more nutrient-rich. She would spend several hours giving the infants the gallons of milk they need to be large, robust, and healthy. Her goal was to raise the baby elephants so they may someday repopulate the declining elephant population in the wild. Elephants seldom procreate, and when they do, they only give birth to one youngster at a time, which is a sad reality. Because of this, female elephants were being killed for their tusks far more quickly than they could give birth. Due to this, elephant populations gradually decreased over time until they attained endangered species status. Dr. Sheldrick had such a profound knowledge of elephants and felt such compassion for them that he could not allow it to occur. She could not bear the thought of these magnificent creatures being eradicated from the face of the earth, just as a result of a trade that was so harsh and inhumane. So she never gave up. She developed astonishingly tight and powerful attachments to each of the calves, and the unmistakably strong relationships that they shared were unlike anything anybody had ever seen before. When Dr. Sheldrick was not around, the young elephants would scream for her, and when she did appear, they would rush over to greet her with excitement. It seemed as if the newborn elephants had come to view the doctor as a mother figure, even though she could never completely substitute for their moms. They needed her assistance and depended on her, which was something that the other people in the Tsavo National Park found to be quite moving. The narrative of Dr. Sheldrick finally made its way throughout Africa and eventually spread to the rest of the world. Visitors loved hearing the tale of how a lady had practically adopted and raised a large number of young elephants, despite initial reservations. That struck a chord with the globe, and many offered contributions and offers of aid. Dr. Sheldrick's heart was moved by the fact that she was helping to spread awareness and was, by all accounts, doing a lot of good. Yet, despite this, she continued to fight for her cause. This increasing awareness also had a collateral consequence, which was a decrease in the amount of poaching that has taken place. Poaching did not come to a complete halt, but it seemed that those responsible for it wanted to keep their activities hidden. While there was such a strong interest in the topic, the effort that Dr. Sheldrick did to raise generation after generation of young elephants drew crowds of onlookers who came to see him in action. People would come from far and wide to meet the altruistic environmentalist and provide a helping hand in any way that they could. Then one day, something that was extremely weird and unique happened. This strange and uncommon occurrence quickly became a habit that left individuals completely unable to express themselves. Elephants would go from all around the national park to visit Dr. Sheldrick's residence and line up in an organized queue at his front door. People were perplexed when they first began to observe this, since it was something new to them. What was the purpose of the elephant's presence? What was it that they were waiting in line for? Well, the answer was about to become very clear very quickly, because as soon as Dr. Sheldrick walked out of her door, the long line of elephants started to slowly file towards her to either embrace the woman with their trunks or lovingly caress her face. This happened as soon as Dr. Sheldrick walked out of her door. This display of adoration never failed to bring tears to the eyes of everybody and everyone who was watching, and Dr. Sheldrick herself would sometimes find herself becoming emotional and choked up. Yet, there was a reason why the elephants were there, and it was a cause that struck fear into the hearts of everyone else in the area. You have to understand that Dr. Sheldrick was instrumental in the upbringing of each of these big, fully grown and adult elephants while they were still young calves. They would never forget how she had helped him, nor would they forget the face she had helped them recall. It is said that an elephant never forgets anything, and it was seen that this is true, since each elephant acted toward Dr. Sheldrick as if he were an old friend that they had not seen in a very long time. After that, they would all slowly begin to move away from one another in their paths, never to return. This heartfelt dedication demonstrated not only that the elephants were grateful for all that Dr. Sheldrick had done for them, but also that her efforts in conservation were successful, which was the most satisfying aspect of her work. We'd want to leave you with a moving quote from Dr. Daphne's book to round up this presentation. Elephants will never forget, but those who have suffered so much at the hands of humans never lose the capacity to forgive. On that note, we wrap up the video today. What do you think about this amazing tale? If you had witnessed all the elephants coming up to see Dr. Sheldrick, how would you have responded? Please share your ideas and opinions in the box below. As usual, we want to hear from you. We'll see you in the next following video. Thanks for watching.